Episode 8. Madison watched as he entered the house, the corner of her lips turning up into a smile. "Are you afraid of me dying?" she thought to herself. All of a sudden, she thought of taking revenge on him. She wondered what kind of expression he would wear when he received the news about her death one day. Would he be glad or upset? Hunter took out the box of frozen apples from the fridge to defrost. Madison watched as he busied himself in the kitchen, thinking ruefully that this was probably the last time he would cook for her. At least it was something worth remembering. She crouched by the fireplace and started roasting marshmallows. The sweetness permeated the air, reminding her of how Hunter's grandmother would never fail to rush over when she smelled roasted marshmallows in the winter. The old lady treated Madison really well, as if she were her own granddaughter. Sadly, she passed away 2 years ago. Hunter's grandfather then moved overseas to prevent himself from being constantly reminded of his loss. The once cozy mansion now stood cold and empty. Hunter's grandmother was no longer here to rob Madison of her roasted marshmallows too, and that made Madison feel empty inside. After finishing the roasted marshmallows and gulping down a glass of warm water, she felt that her stomach did not hurt as much as before. She could smell the pleasant scent of food from the kitchen. Madison walked over to find Hunter pouring some of the soup into a thermos flask and into a bowl. Since when had she fallen from being his priority and one and only? She asked herself that question. Yet, she continued to turn a blind eye to the truth of their relationship by reminding herself of how sweet he was to her in the past. "The apple cider is ready," Hunter said, unaware of her dampening mood. "Thank you." Madison stared at the mug in her hands. It tasted just the same as before, but she had already lost her appetite for it. "It's late. Let's head to the city hall." Hunter looked somewhat annoyed. "Aren't you going to drink it?" "I don't feel like it," Madison said. Back then, he would have coaxed her with all the patience he had. Now, he simply glanced at her and poured the cider into the sink. His face was like a blank slate when he walked past her and said, "Let's go." "Send this to Collington Cove," Hunter said as he passed the thermos flask to Brent. "All right, Mr. Williams." It was at this moment that Madison knew that there was nothing she could do to mend the tear in their relationship. The year she spent trying to fix things was nothing but a joke. Madison quickly walked to the car. As she passed the apple tree, the wind blew, and the last leaves of the tree fell from its branches. Madison raised a hand to catch one of the leaves. Softly, she said to herself, "What are you even holding on to?" Then she tossed it to the ground and crushed it beneath her feet. She closed the door of the car. Even though it was warm inside, just the way that she and Hunter sat at both ends of the passenger seat, like the North and South Poles, was enough to have the air feel as chilly as the weather outside. The journey to the city hall was smooth and without much traffic. It was as if God was paving the way for their divorce because the traffic lights were green all the way. As the car was taking a turn at the intersection, nearing their destination, Hunter's phone started ringing. Andrea's voice came from the other end of the line. "Hunter, Connor's down with a fever. I didn't want to disturb you, but his fever is now at 103 degrees. I'm so scared. Hurry over." "I'm coming." Hunter hung up, his eyes meeting Madison's gaze. Her eyes were glassy, but the hatred in them was as clear as day. She spoke slowly, enunciating each word. "What's the child's name?" It was dead silent in the car. Andrea's voice was loud as she was anxious, so Madison managed to hear her say the name Connor. She remembered the day she received her pregnancy report. She had run into Hunter's embrace and told him about it. "Hunter, you're going to be a father. We're having a baby." Her voice was filled with enthusiasm. "I've thought of our child's name. It'll be Colette if she's a girl and Connor if she's a boy. What do you think?" Oh, how she wished she had misheard Andrea, but Hunter looked her right in the eyes and told her, His name's Connor. You asshole. Madison's hand was already in the air. She slapped him, yet he did not flinch, letting her do as she pleased. How could you name her child after our own? The thought of her child was Madison's final straw. Tears streamed down her cheeks uncontrollably, and she pounced on him as if she had gone crazy. You devil. Why did God take away my child from me? Why weren't you the one who died? She landed hit after hit on him as she yelled, "He doesn't deserve that name." Hunter grabbed both her hands and told Kelvin, "Head to Collington Cove." This made Madison go berserk. "We're close to the city hall already. Settle our divorce first before you head elsewhere. His fever won't go down. I must go back now. My father's lying unconscious in the hospital, yet the nurses wouldn't even let me anywhere near the hospital because of the bills. Are you saying that your child's life is important, but my father's life is nothing?" Madison yelled in his face. Hunter's face darkened at the mention of Madison's father. "How dare you compare your father to Connor?" In a fit of rage, Madison raised her hand to slap him again, but he gripped her wrist tightly. "Are you done?" he shouted. The car took a turn, and Madison watched as they moved further and further away from the city hall. Hunter locked her tightly in his arms, restraining her movements and preventing her from struggling free. Long ago, she would be happy and content in his arms, but they were nothing more than shackles to her now. His arms were strong, and with how frail she was right now, she could not break free. Helpless, she hollered, "Do you love Andrea that much?" However, Hunter was stunned, for when he held Madison, he found that she had not only gotten just a bit slimmer, she was way bonier than she was a year ago. She was paper-thin, and he could feel her bones prodding him through her clothes. The woman he once pampered so much was now so skinny and frail. Was this truly what he wanted? He was just starting to doubt himself when the image of his sister's corpse flashed across his mind. His grip on Madison's waist tightened a little. When he raised his head to look at her again, all that was left in his eyes was an endless pool of darkness. "Believe it or not, I'll have someone remove your father's breathing tube right now if you continue making a fuss." Madison fell silent then. Her hands clutched his clothes tightly as her tears soaked his shirt. It was funny how he was the one who used to say that he would never make her cry, but he was now the reason behind all her tears. The silence in the car was suffocating. Madison finally managed to calm herself down, pushing him away before straightening her back. She then sniffed and said, "It's your business if you want to go to your child. However, you can't ruin our plan. Stop worrying about me not letting you go because I'm going to divorce you no matter what. I don't have the habit of keeping someone else's trash." Hunter frowned at the word trash, but Madison ignored him and carried on with her speech. "I admit that I've been too naive in the past to pin my hopes on you. I've seen everything now. Holding on is meaningless, so I'll let things go. Give me the money, and we'll deal with the formalities later on. I promise I'll be there in a call. I won't go back on my word. What if I don't want to?" Madison looked into his dark, unsettling eyes. The tears that she wept just now made her eyes clearer than ever. Coolly, she met his gaze and said, "Then I'll jump out of the car. I'd rather die if I couldn't save my father." Only then did Hunter take out a check and write on it, "I'll wire you the other $5 million after we're divorced." Madison laughed mockingly at him. "Are you so afraid that I wouldn't divorce you? Don't worry. I'll sooner take my own life than stay beside a man like you. Stop the car." She grabbed the check from his hands, slammed the door shut, and left without looking back. Finally, she could save her father's life. She went to cash the check and rushed to the hospital to settle her father's medical fees. She then called a cab and headed to the address Brent had given her. It was a private, high-end cemetery. Those buried here were either affluent or filthy rich. Hunter's late grandma was buried here.
Full story is available at novelpalace.com. Click the link in the comment section to get it free.